Hello everyone, welcome to our talk. I'm Mang Cai, attorney at law at New Weiming Law Group. So my topic for this talk is 80 questions for your I-485 and green card. Well, you may know there is a popular game called 20 questions. Well, here our title is 80 questions, and it's not a game, well, it's serious. It's about your I-485 and green card. So what is I-485? You may have already seen our other video talks. I-485 is for adjustment of status, and the majority of foreigners will need to complete this I-485 form, receive approval before they can receive the US green card. Regarding the numbers, each year more than 1 million foreigners receive US permanent residency, or called green card, and among them, more than half, or 500,000, will adjust their status inside the US, which means they complete the I-485 form, they submit the form, and they attend the interview and receive 485 approval. We have recorded several other videos regarding 485 interview, how to prepare the interview, what to bring, and how to prepare the form, what to expect, the procedure itself, how long it may take, what kind of interview documents you may receive before the 485 approval. And here now let's talk about the 485 form itself. Well, there are 80 questions literally on the 485 form, which is now 18 pages long. These 80 questions spread from page 9 to page 14 of this new 485 form. Well, you do need to understand the questions, because when you go to the interview, most likely you will be asked at least some of those questions. If you do not understand them, well, you may answer them incorrectly, which will cause severe consequences. So what are those questions? Let's briefly go over them and be better prepared. So starting from page 9 of this form, it's part 8, general eligibility and inadmissibility grounds. So first it will ask you about your present or former membership. Have you ever been a member of, or involved in, or associated with any organization, party, society, or similar group? For example, if you are a member of, say, American Chemical Society, you can also fill it here, the name, the location, the nature, the time you started to become a member, and the current status, like these things. So if you are a member of other groups, you can also fill it here. And then after that, it will ask you, have you ever been denied admission to the US? Have you ever been denied a visa to the US? Have you ever worked in the US without authorization? Well, this can happen to some applicants, and this by itself does not mean your application will be denied. So under 245K, if you have ever worked without authorization in the US, but the aggregated time is fewer than 180 days, you should be okay, but you need to answer based on the truth. And it will also ask you, have you ever been in removal process or similar procedure? Have you ever been issued an order of exclusion or deportation? Have you ever held immigration permanent resident status and later, renounced the status, etc.? And one important question is, have you ever held J visa status and has not fulfilled the 2-year home country residence requirement or received a waiver for that? And the next section, it asks you about the criminal acts and violations. Have you ever been arrested, cited, charged, or detained? Have you ever committed any crime even though you were not arrested? So under the immigration law, only if you are convicted for certain crime, you may face consequence subject to inadmissibility. Anyone is presumed to be innocent until proved guilty. If you are not convicted, if you are arrested, usually it shouldn't affect your green card. But again, you need to answer the question correctly. So similarly, you also need to answer, have you ever been a defendant, in a criminal proceedings, and etc. So what about traffic violations? Under the instruction of 485, if the fine is less than $500, you may not need to worry about that. But if it's reckless driving or even drunk driving, well, you do need to report that. Again, there's an important difference. Whatever you mention in the 485 form by itself may not stop you from receiving your green card. But if you intentionally hide some information, that can cause severe consequences. And there are some other maybe nonsense or even offending questions like, have you ever engaged in prostitution? Have you ever killed anybody? Have you ever involved in genocide? Well, but these are the way the form is designed, so I don't think it's funny. It may be a little bit unreasonable, but that's the way it is, and answer the questions seriously. And then there are also, security-related questions. Do you plan to engage in espionage or sabotage in the U.S.? Do you plan to engage in any unlawful activity? Those questions. Again, you need to answer the questions with a serious attitude. There are other questions regarding, have you ever assisted or participated in selling, providing, transporting weapons to any person in your knowledge, used them against any other person, about violence-related issues. One other important part is welfare. It will ask you regarding the public assistance. Okay, so it will ask you, have you ever received public assistance in the U.S. from any source, including the U.S. federal government or any state, county, city, or municipal government? So again, answering yes to any of those questions by itself does not automatically mean your case will be denied. You received public assistance. That by itself does not mean you are a public charge. Okay, so under the current regulation, only if you receive cash benefit from U.S. government and you rely on welfare, then you may be considered a public charge. Under current regulations, receiving food stamp or Medicaid, WIC, or this kind of benefits, welfare, by itself does not place you on the public charge list. So those shouldn't stop you from receiving your green card. But again, if you ever received public assistance, you need to answer them. As you can see, with these 80 questions, they focus on your past history and whether you entered the U.S. illegally, maintained legal status in the U.S., whether you were ever asked to leave the U.S. but did not obey the government's requirement, whether you had any law violation, either criminal law or immigration law in the U.S. These questions are quite detailed. If you do not understand any of those questions, or if you have a relatively complicated history and you have confusion or uncertainty about how to answer some specific question, you can consult a lawyer to discuss this, to answer the question properly. As you may have heard, there's a term called extreme vetting used in the adjustment of status and also the issues of immigrant visa. Basically, this step, it exists for some reason. During this step, the USCIS will investigate your background, your history, to make sure you are admissible to the US as a permanent resident. As we mentioned in the beginning of this video, each year, more than 1 million foreigners do receive US green cards without problem. Normally, you do not need to worry. You only need to treat the I-485 form seriously and complete the form to your best knowledge. And if you have any additional questions, check our other videos or send us a message. Thank you.